Konnichiwa, this is the Shogunstein, and this is a colorblind board game perspective of Century Spice Road, the original game. There are 3 games in this series, and there's also Gollum editions, but this is just a look at the original game from a colorblind board game perspective, and just to get it out there, this is one of the least colorblind friendly games out there, while at the same time is one of my favorite games out there. And that's the irony of this game. I really enjoy Century Spice Road. We hadn't played it in a while. Me and Little Shogunstein got the game out just today, first time in a while. And on the one hand, I forgot how much I enjoy Century Spice Road, and at the same time, I forgot how frustrating this game is if you are colorblind. Now, the team here is part of the reason why this is so difficult to play if you are colorblind. The theme here is basically the spice trade, the Century Spice Road, meaning, the Silk Road and the trade that was connected with the Silk Road and the spice trade. And that includes places like the Byzantine Empire, India, China. And in doing so, our cubes represent the different spices. So we have thematic cubes. So we have our cubes that represent the different spices. The problem is that these spices and these colors are very difficult if you're colorblind. So you have a yellow, a red, a green, and a brown. And it's very, very difficult for people with colorblindness like me to tell these cubes apart. Now, again, if you look on the instructions here, they're telling you got your quenelle, your cardamom, your saffron, and your turmeric, your curry. So you want to have, I understand you want to have the colors that represent these spices. So you want to be thematic to this theme of the Silk Road and the spice trade. However, as difficult as the cubes are, it's even more difficult when you're looking at the cards and you have to see what things convert to or, what scores. So it's very difficult to tell these apart. So on the one hand, you have to ask. So when I'm playing this, I have to ask, are those green, are those brown, those are red? So that also kind of throws off, actually the opposite of throws off, it actually kind of clues in the other players as to which cards I'm looking at, which ones I'm trying to build. So I can ask all the cards to try to throw people off. And again, that takes time. So it kind of breaks up the rhythm of the game. There's been a number of times I've played this game where I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to give up, which card I'm going for. And then at the last minute, I realized that something was red and not green, or green and not brown. So these cubes that you gotta, have in order to claim the card and score the points and, get towards victory at the game, is very difficult to tell the colors apart. These are impossible colors when you're colorblind to have red, brown, and green next to each other. So there have been a number of times when I've played this where I thought it was green and it was really red, or red and it was green, or green and it was brown. And on the other hand, if I ask, then people know what I'm up to. So this is the dilemma that game makers have when they're trying to keep theme and at the same time try to be colorblind friendly. So yeah, could I on my own, add some sort of dot to the cube or something? Yeah, I guess ultimately I could, but then I'm kind of messing up the components. So maybe, game designers should look at, doing something with these cubes, putting some sort of icon or symbol or something that lets it stand out so that way colorblind players can adapt. Now, I was told, I don't have it, but I was told that the Gollum editions are a little more colorblind friendly, which is good, but then I don't really like that theme. That's not a theme that I'm interested in. I actually love the art on this card. I love, that theme of the Silk Road and the spice trade and Indian Ocean trade and these civilizations, China and the Byzantine and India and the Middle East and all these places that were connected through this trade route. So I understand being thematic, but at the same time, there easily could have been some ways, some things they could have done to these cubes to differentiate them from each other. And again, there could be, a little mark on it, some sort of symbol. And again, I guess ultimately, if I wanted to, I could take a marker, but then I'm kind of messing up the the components. And it does, it can be, Little Shogunstein's very patient with me, and I'll ask him, hey, what color is this? What color is that? Which is good. But again, at the same time, it disrupts the flow of the game, and it also gives away what I'm trying to do. So we haven't played this in a while, and I forgot how much I enjoy Century Spice Road. I love this kind of engine building game, and I love the theme of this game. But at the same time, since we hadn't played in a while, I forgot how frustrating it can be, the use of these colors. These are the absolute worst colors to have together for a colorblind player. So again, for game designers, I just hope moving forward that they can find ways to stay thematic and at the same time come up with some ways to make this maybe a little more friendly to colorblind players. And again, this is an issue that you would never know exists if you're not colorblind. Because again, people that aren't colorblind can very easily tell these colors apart, and probably would never even know that there are people like me or other people that have color blindness that really struggle with these colors. Again, especially brown and green and red and yellow. And as bad as it is, again, with these cubes on the cards, it's even worse. So again, I hope board game designers will think about this and again find ways to, keep that theme and at the same time be, cognizant of doing things to have some sort of modifications for colorblind players. So again, that's just a look at Century Spice Road from a colorblind board game perspective. This is the Shogunstein.